Okay, I started the recording. Yay. How fun is that?
Thank you.
Well, assuming it works. I've had these things not work before, but Michael seems to be able to do it every week, so
Should work.
yeah, should.
Okay, Brom usually joins late if he joins. I don't think Naoki's going to join, but he has put a detailed update in the Etherpad. So since we're recording, welcome to the weekly installment of the mobile support meeting. Go Sumo. We're back. We were off last week because we had an in-person meetup so we could all be in the same place together and discuss our Q2 goals. The focus for the whole team for Q2 goals is Firefox OS, so that's very exciting. So we talked a lot about Firefox OS and how everyone can get involved in it and in support. And we talked to other teams about what we're doing to support Firefox OS and how they can share that with the rest of the world and our new users. So that was pretty cool. And it was Patrick's first meetup with us, so
It was
thumbs up
good to
from
see
Patrick.
everybody.
Yeah, it's nice to see you there too.
Yeah.
We learned about coffee, great coffee making, and more really about beans than coffee. But I've been enjoying my little small bag of blue bottle coffee.
Oh, and we met Jay Jefferson, for sure.
Yep.
Jefferson. Jay Sure.
Jay
Yes,
Sure.
Jay Sure 2000. Yes, he joined us for a whole day and talked to us, showed us how he uses the forum, talked to us all about his script that he uses to customize the forum and what he likes and how he has learned to help people who are in trouble with Firefox and get them to a solution. And so that was a great day spent with him. Hello, welcome, electrical cable. Is that Brom? Oh,
Yes.
hi,
Okay.
Brom. I knew you by your cable.
That was good. I like that.
Welcome. We are recording, so this meeting will be public. Everyone must know this. And we are just getting started. In the agenda, apologies were sent from Satav. He had something come up on his side, so he won't be available to meet us or to help drive this meeting for a wee bit. So I'll be trying to send out reminders. And obviously, by the show of the number of people here, I'm not nearly as good at it as him, but I will do my best. Okay, so he sent apologies. And previous action items. I'm supposed to look at comms being free for the mobile meeting, but I did get the boardroom booked for April 8th. And hey, Michael Verdi, welcome.
Hello.
Hello, this is being recorded.
Using ScreenFlow, which I just learned how to use. Thanks, Michael.
Oh, who's got it?
I'm
Who's
doing
doing that? Ah, okay.
assuming it
Very
works
good.
correctly.
Cool.
And so on the 8th, I booked the boardroom in San Francisco. If that reservation holds, we'll try to do maybe we'll try to do a brown bag, which has always been our dream, and show off the cool mobile support that we have for Firefox for Android and Firefox OS and all the crazy awesome things you can do on mobile for support nowadays. So that will be on the 8th. And so I think there's something I still need to do for that. So this is an action item for me, which is I think I have to file something to get a brown bag. Has anyone done one before? I have to make some sort of a request or something?
I have no idea.
None of you? Come on. None of you have done a
Yes,
brown
you
bag.
do.
Oh, okay. I knew you
I did
had.
one, but it was a long time ago, and I don't remember. There's a request with I don't know who. Is it IT?
Okay.
They
Okay.
may have changed it since I did it. It was like a year and a half ago.
Okay. I will do that. AI for me to figure that out. Okay. So QA, the update from Naoki. No big news on B2G Firefox OS, he says. Just that we continue to have three branches that we're working on, making life very confusing.
Yeah.
But it looks like they've made some updates to quality with UI automation with Marionette, which is very exciting. There are some people in South America probably for the Mozilla Hispano Work Week that is happening in Peru. Well, it's more like a long weekend. It's like 3 days down there. And our Ralph Daub is also there along with Rosanna Ardilla. And so they're coordinating with Mozilla Hispano and finding out from them how best they want to work on localization and how we can coordinate with gathering feedback from the forums and any ways that we can help them with anything they would need for escalations for Firefox OS. Firefox for Android, the QA release or QA notes have a link to the release notes in the Etherpad.
Yeah.
And we're releasing with beta 7 for version 20. And stability of beta is improving, but we should keep our eyes peeled. So if you see anything or hear anything, ping Roland or Naoki.
Yeah.
And there are some links for more information about Firefox Mobile and stability there. Are there any other things we should talk about related to QA or anything here that doesn't make sense that we should follow up with Naoki on?
Did you get your email from Naoki? I didn't.
Oh, okay. I'll forward it to you.
Cool.
I did.
Thank you.
Sure.
There is a bug about what was it? Oh, there's an attack in Twitter or something on Twitter in Japan. So we're looking into whether we need to do another beta or do another rebuild of Firefox for Android, but it appears not at this moment. But opinions seem to vary. I'm not sure the nature of this attack. I guess it's some URL that anyone can type in. But if those URLs are deleted from Twitter, maybe we don't have a problem. It also requires people to tap on that link. And it caused an infinite loop in the Firefox or Android browser. And this problem was, or any browser, and this problem was fixed in desktop a long time ago. So up until 2 hours ago, we thought we'd taken this fix. So I'm not quite sure what the discussion is, because it's not in the bug, of why we decided not to take it.
Okay.
People say you can just quit out of the browser, but I don't know.
All right. Well, keep us up to date if something changes related to the release. And if you want to discuss more about what, if any article should be written, I'm happy to help with that too.
Yeah, we're just gonna say, don't click on these links. Kind of a weird article to write, but
That is a weird article to write. But I guess maybe it would just be sort of like, I'm in an infinite loop and explain to people what they did, because sometimes you get into an infinite loop, you don't even know how you got there. So maybe it could just explain what it was that makes that happen.
Yeah.
And then however to manually exit on the different platforms.
Yes, it's bug 854340. If I could update the Etherpad, I'd actually put it in there. But since the Etherpad
You're
is
having,
not working for me,
right.
I'll put it in channel.
Tell me the number.
I'll put it in IRC under SUMO.
Okay.
And you can copy and paste it. There we go.
Okay. 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 Come on, Etherpad. Okay, never mind, Etherpad. So Patrick, do you want to give your update on the marketplace?
Yeah, the week before our work week, I sat down with David Bialer and discussed a lot about refunds for marketplace mostly. But out of that conversation, found out that the marketplace team is currently testing payments. I believe they have the in-app payments working correctly. They're testing just the opt-in payments right now. They're tentatively scheduling the launch of paid apps in the marketplace for May 15th, with the rollout for Venezuela, Colombia, and Spain. That should say Spain. And they're currently they're going to be sending a team down to Venezuela for a work week to do some on the ground testing for payments in the marketplace. I believe that's in April sometime. So
Cool.
payments are coming.
Awesome. Yay. That's great. And then were you testing some support for payments this week also? So you're testing your email path for private emails?
That's set up for the carriers to email into us if they have issues, but that's nothing regarding payments.
Not related to payments.
Right.
Okay. Right, just for the tier 3 requests for
Right.
partners. Okay. How'd that go?
It worked. I forwarded the information off to Guillermo, and we'll talk about it more during our conference call with them next week.
Perfect. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
That's going to be very helpful. Okay, so as I said, we had our meetup last week, and in addition to the things I already talked about, we also met with William Reynolds, who is in the contributor engagement team, and so he was thinking, oh, we should have some sort of a helper app for users. Let's build a helper app, and well, we have one. We already built one of those. Cool. So we talked to him about how to show people how to appify the SUMO site by going to the settings and in the help hitting the user guide and then saving it as a bookmark in the browser. And I'll save it on the home screen of Firefox OS so you can always go back and use it just like a help app. And so for contributor engagement, they're planning a bunch of engagement camps for the launch countries for Firefox OS. And they're going to teach them sort of like 3 to 5 things that they can show new users. And that will be one of the things. which is awesome. So thanks to everyone on this team who worked on all of that for many, many months. um, so all the contributors who help users in the retail stores, and as the phones start being available later this year, that'll be one of the things that they're shown is how to get the help app on your home screen and then refer back to it whenever you have questions. Um, any questions about that? Of course, I think we all feel like there should be other opportunities for people to get to the help on the phone. There are a couple of other ways you can get to the help from the browser. You can get there also from the marketplace, uh, and if there are other ways people think it should be available, or in future versions that we should just put it on the home screen, we all feel like that's probably something we should do. But it'll be interesting to see what people say as we get more people using it as a bookmark. So the other thing I wanted to give an update on is that in this week in Mountain View, they're doing some usability testing with actual humans. And for Firefox OS on the Unagi prototype devices, they're testing a couple of new features, but also just sort of general testing. It's all confidential, so it's not available in recordings, but I've watched 4 of them this week, and 3 of 4 participants could not figure out or guess to swipe to get to anything other than those 4 apps that you see at the bottom at the
What
beginning.
language are they? Are they English, Portuguese,
They're
or Spanish?
they're all English-speaking people from the Bay Area who are using flip phones. So they're
Ah,
not smartphone users yet.
okay.
So this is something that came up during our working week last week that we were talking about, when we were talking about, well, what should we train people on and that sort of thing. So it's certainly been an eye-opening takeaway for me. If the question that's being asked is sort of find and download a game app on the phone, and 3 of 4 people have not been able to figure out any other way to do that except for in the browser.
Wow.
So this is something that we'll certainly, want to make sure in the training for OBs that we highlight, like Michael said, in big red text. Like, if you do nothing, show people how to
Tell them
swipe.
this.
Teach them how to swipe right and left. It is in the first run experience. There's screenshots that demonstrate this,
Yes, I remember
which is
seeing those.
awesome. Yeah. So it is there the first time in the first run. It is possible to skip over those screenshots, but it isn't completely missing. And these participants are not going through the first run. So, maybe they would have figured it out from the first run experience. But that's one thing that jumped out at me as like, eek. Um,
Was there a reason that they were skipping the first run experience?
They're
Yeah.
just really, the focus is just testing the dialer. So they really just start with a new UX for the dialer and ask them to do some tasks in the dialer. And then they take them to the home screen and talk to them about how they would get an app. And that's where it becomes obvious um, that they don't know how to find other things.
Gotcha.
So they're doing the dialer, and then, but as soon as you teach them how to swipe, it's like, riding a bike, you've known it forever. And most everyone uh, among all the core apps knows that Marketplace is the thing they would use to download an app. Were you going to jump in there, Brom? Did you have something? I
No,
didn't know
no.
if you.
I was
Okay.
just saying, I was, yeah.
You were just doing a swipe gesture. Yeah.
Uh,
And so they know marketplace, and then there's a lot of pretty good information about what people think of that first marketplace screen, and how they get to stuff, and and then we show them the dynamic app search and sort of how that's different, and then ask them to compare and contrast the two. So it's just a 1 hour test, but super interesting. And then for the last two people, I got them to ask the question of, so how would you find how-tos, or how would you get help or learn more about how to use the phone? And two participants immediately just said, well, YouTube, everything's on YouTube. So.
yeah. Of course.
Oh, you know, one thing about that, um, um, that is that may be true for our people in the Bay Area, but may not be
Yeah.
a thing that if you don't have internet access in your home, watching YouTube videos may not be
Right.
something you can easily do. So that, yeah.
Yeah. And they might have different popular video service in the target countries, the launch countries. But
Well,
yeah,
and they say that first, they say sort of YouTube first, and then they're like, and maybe I would go to Mozilla's website and look for a user guide,
Mm.
was the first guy. And then the second guy said, and, I wouldn't want to use read a user manual, but maybe there should be something that says, something that's a first run thing that teaches me some things at the
getting
beginning.
started guide.
Well, he said something that says like that's always sitting there that says like, are you new, or do you have amnesia? Hit this and
I
we'll
do.
teach you.
Yeah.
You can remember.
Right.
We'll help you remember how to do something.
Is that the very last guy? Because I just joined the last 15 minutes of the
Yes.
last person I did. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I heard him say that. I was like, yes.
Right.
So were you like watching him like from remotely? That's kind of weird.
He
Yeah.
knows. He knows that
I know he knows, but still kind of weird. Okay.
uh, he struggled more than anyone, and it crashed on him more than anyone. It's like the phone was getting tired. Um, But they're using a funny build. They're not using the regular build. They're using a special build. Anyways, if there are questions you have that you would like us to try to get them to ask, um, speak now or send them to me and I'll.
Well, I'd like you to get them to try configuring their email and also try taking a picture and a video and uploading them somewhere, of course.
Oh, yes. Those
But
those are all, those are completely, that would take an hour.
I know, it's outside the scope of the study clearly. But I mean, if there's follow-up scheduled, we have time, right? It's only March for
Yeah.
the next few days.
And people they do ask some general questions at the end of sort of like, what would you like to have, features that you don't have on your phone today, and email definitely comes up in that list. Like everybody sort of says, well, I'd like to find restaurants or have GPS when I'm out and about.
Great.
Um, Points of interest I would like to have, and then sort of like, and maybe my email. So it certainly comes up. So that was it for those were sort of the highlights of Firefox OS stuff from me this week. Questions or things on your mind or things you're hearing you want to share?
Well, how many more are we? Oh,
No, go ahead.
oh yeah, okay. Are we planning to do this sort of regularly? Maybe in a week or 2 weeks, or like, is this a regular feature that we're gonna do from now on? Because it's a very good thing, I think.
The testing?
Yeah, because if users come regularly, then we can test. It's like, oh, okay, this week's the dialer, next week's the messaging. Then we can test like all sorts of areas of the phone, including, I hope, SUMO one day.
Yeah, right. I know. I would love to see that tested also. And I doubt it, but I certainly think that I will give strong feedback about how helpful it is. and that we should do more and oftener. But it's not, there's a cost,
Yeah.
right? Finding the right people and recruiting them and having all the setup to do all of it, and some sort of incentives and all of that is a huge process. But related to that, Chang, who has been working on the user feedback part of Firefox OS, is trying to spin up a beta program for Firefox OS for Colombia and Venezuela. And so he's putting together materials to try to screen for some participants who would actually, like 50 participants who would get phones and then give us feedback for a period of time over their learning about the phone and then their regular use. And so we're really, really hopeful about that being a rich source of information for us, that would be similar to, it's not actual, you can't actually sit there and watch them, which is what's so instructive. But that is one other stream that we talked about last week that he's just trying to start up a new program for beta that's similar to dog fooding, but it would be people in our target who have never used smartphones before.
Yeah.
But I'll send the feedback that you said, Bram, about doing more and often. I think we just got a new project manager helping with that, so I'll
That's
connect
great.
you with her also. Michael, did you have a comment you wanted to jump in with?
Oh, because I'm playing with it right now. You probably already know this, but that Android screencast thing totally works with the Firefox OS phone. I didn't realize it would.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
cool.
how I did I have only one screencast for the notifications pull down because people
Ah,
don't discover that. That I put on there's a view notifications article. There's two. There's one with the video and one without. So I'm like trying to do a little A/B test on the two notifications articles. But one of them has a screencast I did with
cool.
Android screencast. It works great. It's weird. It's like you click the button, it's opposite what you expect, where it's like it records everything until you click the button instead of recording everything after you click the button. Have you noticed that?
Oh, really? No,
Yeah.
I clicked record and it started to record. It asked me to save it and then
Yeah. Did you watch the recording yet though?
yeah, I'm watching it.
Oh, okay.
It seemed to work like I thought.
Oh, I always seem to record the wrong thing. I
The
record
wrong
the
thing.
thing, I record the stuff I'm doing before or after always, what I actually thought it was recording. Yeah, it's a cool little thing.
Yeah.
I can't believe I
I'm gonna
never
see if I
shared
can
that with you before.
I'm gonna see if I can figure out how to put uh, some way to do taps or something on here. But I think it'll be like pretty time intensive. I'm gonna see.
Yeah, some way to show what you're tapping on.
Yeah.
Exactly. It is hard. I mean, it's hard to do it efficiently
Yeah.
without spending hours and hours. Yeah. Okay, cool. So Android updates, did you have other updates you want to make, Roland?
I'm finishing the article for what is it we were working on this morning, Michael? Oh, homepage, customizing your homepage.
Home screen
Home
thumbnails.
screen, no, homepage, not home screen. Home screen's different. And then I'm gonna do one on the Quit article, which is in the Etherpad that I can't update.
Okay.
As per my notes in the Etherpad, you know how everybody says read the wiki, read the Etherpad. And the previous discussion about that bug, the infinite loop bug that you can work around. We might have to write an article about that. I hope not, because it's kind of a silly article to write, but we will write it if called upon.
So they're removing the quit Firefox.
Yes.
Menu item?
But Finkel or Mark Finkel or Brad Lassie, who are the managers who still code in Firefox Android development group, did a Quit Now add-on. So if you really want the Quit back, you can install this add-on. So I don't know. I'm just gonna link to the add-on. I don't really want to encourage people to install add-ons. Like, I don't know. Just use the normal Android way to quit applications.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That's funny. I just remember, when I first started on Android, I'm sure Michael remembers this too, people just like going nuts for a quit button.
It was such a big deal to get the darn thing in there.
I know. I'm sure that's my.
Get it out.
This is what I'm told. Like, people fought to get it in, and now we're taking it out because
it was
it's
this
not
thing
right.
like, we have a quit button now, and everyone was like, "Yay, we can quit!" And now they're taking it out.
I know.
I guess it happens.
You're right.
Well, apparently, the rest of Android applications do not have quit buttons in later versions. So we are just following what Google recommends. So I don't know.
I'm sure it was a big criticism of Android to begin with, that one that you needed the like task manager because your battery was always dying because no programs would quit in the background, right? And you're like, why do I have to keep quitting all these apps? Why doesn't it just do it for me automatically? So I'm sure Google is happy to have that whole story go away.
I think if I have the story right, in later versions of Android, so this might just apply to later, like Ice Cream Sandwich and later, it automatically quits applications or something based on least frequently used or something like that. But I believe the quit, I will double check on my Gingerbread phone, but I believe quit stays around for Gingerbread.
Oh, woohoo!
Oh no! Oh great! So it's another one of those things that will have differences between operating systems that we can't really support.
Yes, exactly. There you go.
Awesome.
I will double check. You see why I put off writing this article? But yeah, I'll write it. Don't worry. I mean, it's the usual.
Oh, well, thanks for your hard work on that. That's going to be fun. Okay. And then help wanted if you have an ARMv6 phone with QVGA display, which is 320 by 240. Please test that all support.mozilla.org articles render properly.
I mean, I'm going to do that as well, but I mean, it can't hurt for you to browse to your top 10 articles, That would be wonderful.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was only kidding about 600 articles. 4 or 5, 2 or 3, that'd be great.
10 even.
And then, file bugs for quirks or rendering issues. And then I linked to the Twitter bug thing.
Yeah.
In there. Okay. Any other issues I think is left over? I know the first one's left over. The second one is something Fear 56 did last week, which is awesomeness. He, posted a summary of this meeting to the SUMO contributors forum, which is wonderful. Like that kind of stuff is just, I generally don't have time to do it, so it's super helpful to do it and help communicate out what we talk about in this meeting for people who can't watch the video or find the Etherpad or whatever. So thanks to Andrew for doing that. Okay, actions from our last meeting. Recording, done. Well done, Roland, thank you.
Well, let's just see what works. I mean, I did a test that it should work.
Right. Yeah, I'll give you kudos once we know it worked.
Yeah. Okay.
Brom to post some new smartphone user searches. Did you do that, Brom?
Yeah. So hold on. Wait. New smart. No.
Right, what the hell is this? I don't remember last week. It was actually 2 weeks ago.
I don't remember either.
I remember.
It
was 2 weeks, and the thing is that what I was curious about, or I thought people could help with, is searching on Google for topics about Firefox OS to see if you got the articles on SUMO. So, so we discussed everyone giving it a try, trying to type in things to Google that you think our new users of the phones will type in, and see what results you get. See if you get the articles on SUMO and if you get the right ones, or does that make sense?
Yes. Probably using Bing though, right? Because that's sort of the search engine that we're gonna use for. Or do
Nope,
we care about that?
nope. I would use
Isn't
Google.
Bing the default though?
That's just in the prototype builds. So,
Oh,
Okay.
I mean, you could use Bing, sure. I mean, I think results for Bing would be helpful too. But Google results are just as helpful for figuring out how people will come to the site, and if they'll get the articles that we've written and which ones come up first, or if there are things that don't show up at all because we don't have the right keywords in our titles. My main goal is to make sure we have the right keywords in the titles for the top things people will be looking for. So another thing I've requested from marketing, but this is something anyone could also research, is to look at, what are the top questions people ask about Android and iOS, and then use those to see if we have the right things documented to some extent, right? Obviously, there's going to be differences, but I just want to make sure we have the right keywords in all of the titles for at least, the top 20, top 50 things that get asked by new smartphone users on the web.
Cool. Yeah, so you can optimize.
And I did a video of Matt and I talking about all of that, so you can see how it works on SUMO, but it's also applicable for Google search. So our titles and the search summaries is what gets put in the that's what Google will index, and that's what they'll display. So like there's a thread that I should post. I should add to the documentation, but 60 characters for the title is what will show up in Google. You can have a longer title, just will get truncated. And the summary box has a countdown for the number of characters, kind of like Twitter. So if you go over it, that's, where your summary is going to get cut off. But so good keywords in your summary also, like another way, like if you describe something in one way in a title, if you can describe it with different words in the summary, or you can use the summary to add additional information that's not in the title, so you don't have to have everything in the title, like change, modify, delete, and remap preferences, right? Like you don't have to have, right? You can just say change your preferences, and then in the summary you can say you can do these 8 functions, as an
Yes.
I don't know, random, not real example, but yeah. So there's good information in that video.
Will you link that
which
from this Etherpad too?
Yes, if I actually don't even have the link to this Etherpad, but it's
And
on
like
the
all of
SUMO
Michael's
blog.
videos, he has a KB article to back it up if you're a text aficionado. Am I correct, Michael?
There is one for this, I
I
thought.
think both would be good.
Yes, but
There are
you
a
know
few
what?
people
Where the
like me
heck is
who
it?
prefer the written word, although I do like your videos.
Okay, this is the Etherpad. I'll find the article.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay, sounds good.
So what were other things? I was thinking of something else related to this searching keywords and titles. I can't remember now what it was, but I'm sure there's a bunch of other types of things that we could do like this, just sort of guerrilla testing how we've done so far with Firefox OS. Oh, what I was going to say was, Of course, we have a help article day tomorrow. Since it's the opposite Thursday, and there's still a bunch of things that need documentation for Firefox OS. And so I added some things to the article that talks about this, that's hanging off the SUMO homepage. But those things are like, SIM toolkit isn't documented, for example, things about your SIM, video and gallery, which Roland has said he's going to try to work on some of that. Browser still needs documentation, and a couple of other things I can't remember I added to the list. So if you have cycles, if there's anyone else on this call
What's our deadline
who can help.
again?
Well, we are trying to stabilize. I think that's another big topic from last week is localization for Firefox OS. We're trying to stabilize the English documentation without, stopping new development of things like screencasts and videos, and we know we'll have a lot of new development as soon as things ship, when people start asking real questions, and we know what really is troubling for people. But we would like to stabilize English, maybe the end of April.
Okay.
Maybe the beginning of May, we'll have stable English. As I said, Ralph and Rosanna are at the Mozilla Hispano Workweek talking to them about their preferences, if they'd rather have more time or more stable content.
And that's next week when they're in the work with Mozilla now.
No, Ralph
Starting
left
tomorrow.
today, so it starts tomorrow, actually.
Oh, I thought Rosanna was in Toronto. Okay, I guess maybe she's leaving early, or it's only
Well,
in Toronto.
Yeah, she's traveling today.
She's there first, and then at the Mozilla Hispano meetup.
Oh, the life of a community manager.
Yeah. So the upshot is that we care about localizers and not giving them churn, right? Without localizers, really we're nothing, and so we have our goal is not to give them churn, but for this version 1 product, there's going to be some, and things are going to change and be unstable for a while. So we'll do our best not to give localizers churn and stabilize English as much as possible. But there's going to be a lot of new content development and things changing. So we'll just try to walk the line, keep a balance. So keep doing new cool English content. For the next month, we have a whole month. Yeah, at very least. So, and then we'll start trying to stabilize things. And for everyone who's doing reviews and already working on Firefox OS content, you're awesome. Thank you. Keep it up. Anything else? Anyone wants to bring up about mobile that's been on your mind or that you've been hearing? All right.
Yep.
We'll call it a meeting. Thank you,
All right.
everyone.
Hopefully this works, and if it does work, it'll be on YouTube first.
Great.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.